The North Carolina High School Athletic Association's preseason video. Today we're going to talk about student athlete eligibility as well as rules and regulations for participation in high school sports for students at member schools in the NCHSAA. It is a requirement that every coach and athletic director view this video before the start of each of the 3 sports seasons. It's highly recommended that student athletes and parents also be included in the viewing of this video. As a reminder, the NCHSAA has required that all student athletes, parents, coaches, and athletic directors view the crash course concussion education video prior to the start of each sports season. The mission of the NCHSAA is to provide governance and leadership for interscholastic athletic programs that support and enrich the educational experience of students. The vision of the NCHSAA is to be the national model for developing and inspiring greatness through interscholastic athletic experiences. The core values and beliefs of the NCHSAA are the principles that guide the association. Let's look at these core values. Sportsmanship, which means following the rules of the game, respecting the judgment of referees and officials, treating opponents with respect and graciousness in winning or losing. Integrity is defined as consistency of actions, values, methods, measures, principles, expectations, and outcomes, or the truthfulness of one's actions. Fair play means having shared interpretation of the rules, the equal treatment of all concerned, sticking to the agreed rules, and not using unfair advantages. Honesty, which is defined as rightness and fairness, truthfulness, sincerity, or frankness. It is freedom from deceit or fraud. One who is honest consistently seeks and speaks the truth. Respect, which means a positive feeling of esteem for a person or other entity, specific actions or conduct representative of the esteem that you hold for that group or individual. Equity is defined as fairness, just and right, equitable treatment of all, and dealing fairly and equally with all concerned. Our next core value is competition. Fair competition, which means competitors within a competition should have similar performance potential and performance strength. Finally, the development of student athletes, which is defined by the goal that participation in athletics should aid in the physiological and psychological development of the student athlete. Now that we've discussed the foundation of education-based athletics programs at the NCHSAA and in our member schools, let's look at the rules governing student-athlete eligibility. In this section, we will discuss student-athlete restrictions, including how long a student may participate in high school athletics, academic requirements for participation, enrollment, and residence regulations. The following are the restrictions for participating in NCHSAA-sanctioned sports. A student cannot be approved for any athletic contest if the 19th birthday is on or before August 31st of the current year. This rule is established by the North Carolina State Board of Education and may not be waived by the NCHSAA under any circumstances. A student may be eligible to participate at the high school level for a period lasting no longer than 8 consecutive semesters, beginning with the student's first entry into 9th grade or an overage 7th grade and 8th grade student's participation on a high school team, whichever occurs first. A student may not participate at the high school level for more than 4 seasons in a sport. This means no more than 1 season per year. For example, a student cannot play women's soccer in the fall in a different state and then play NCHSAA women's soccer in the spring. Finally, after initial entry into 9th grade, a student is not eligible for participation if convicted of a felony in this or any other state, or be adjudicated as a delinquent for an offense that would be a felony if committed by an adult in this or any other state. Next, let's look at academic regulations. These vary somewhat across the state based on local requirements, but the following are minimum standards for participation. A student must pass a minimum load of work during the preceding semester to be eligible at any time during the present semester. A minimum load for traditional schedule is 5 courses and 3 courses for the block schedule. The semester is normally considered half of the academic year. All students must meet the local promotion standards set by the local education agency, also known as an LEA, and/or the local school. A student not academically eligible at the beginning of the semester is not eligible at any time during the semester, with one exception. The exception is if a student receives an incomplete or is awaiting a final grade due to EOC retesting or any other state-mandated testing which causes him or her to fail to meet minimum scholastic requirements. That student is ineligible until the course is satisfactorily completed. Once the course is satisfactorily completed in this case, the student's eligibility is restored immediately. A detailed example of the NCHSAA academic requirements can be found in Section 1.2.6 of the NCHSAA Handbook. Local school systems may be more restrictive, but not less restrictive relative to academic requirements of the NCHSAA. Next, we examine policies governing enrollment and attendance. A student must participate at the school to which he or she is assigned by the local Board of Education. A student must be enrolled and attending the school. A student may participate in athletics at any school upon initial entry into the 9th grade, provided all applicable eligibility requirements are met. A student athlete must meet the LEA attendance policy during the previous semester at an approved high school. A student is eligible at an assigned school if he or she attended the school within that administrative unit the previous 2 semesters, provided it meets LEA policy. Again, these rules are the minimum rules established by the NCHSAA. A local Board of Education or LEA may choose to set more restrictive regulations than these, but not less restrictive. For the purposes of NCAA regulations, a residence is defined as one of the following: the residence of the parents, the residence of a sole parent, the residence of a parent with whom the student begins the school year's first semester in cases where parents do not live together, or the residence of a legal custodian. Specifically, this is a person or an agency awarded legal, court-ordered custody of a child. Please note a student may not have 2 residences for eligibility purposes. In May 2019, the NCHSAA Board of Directors adopted regulations to allow homeschool students the opportunity to participate in NCHSAA athletic activities at member schools. In order to participate, a homeschool student must adhere to the following rules. Homeschool students must communicate athletic intent at least 10 days prior to the first practice date of each sports season at the member school in which they are domiciled and follow the enrollment and assignment procedures and policies established by the local Board of Education. This is defined as intent to participate. For regulations concerning entry and attendance, it is important to note that homeschool students must have been enrolled in the registered homeschool for 365 days prior to being eligible to participate in athletics at any NCHSAA member school. Upon initial dual enrollment, the student must participate in a class schedule that is at least 1/2 of the school's instructional day and maintain continuous dual enrollment in order to maintain their athletic eligibility. At least 1 class must be on campus each semester or meet LEA requirements. Scholastic regulations specific to homeschool students include that a homeschool student must be on grade level according to a nationally standardized achievement test indicating grade level and pass all courses in which he or she is enrolled in the public school. Now let's shift our attention to situations where a student has a change of residence. In order for a change of residence to be considered a bona fide change of residence, at least the following facts must exist. The original residence must be abandoned as a residence, meaning that it's sold, rented, or disposed of as a residence, and must not be used as a residence by any member of the family. The entire family must make the change and take with them all household goods and furniture appropriate to the circumstances. The change must be made with the intent that the move is permanent. A student transferring from a member school to another member school within the same school system must sit out 365 days for athletic participation. However, please remember the LEA could have a policy that allows immediate athletic eligibility when a transfer occurs. A student transferring from a member school in one LEA to another member school in a different LEA without a bona fide change of residence must sit out 365 days or 2 semesters if more than 50% is remaining in a semester for athletic participation. Exceptions for immediate athletic eligibility for transfers from one LEA to another will be determined by the NCHSAA. It should be noted students transferring to the same member school where the student's coach has relocated within a calendar year will be deemed ineligible in any sport in which the coach is involved. This applies to moves both in the same LEA as well as to different LEAs. A student may not participate at a second school in the same sport season except in the event of a bona fide change of residence of the parents or legal custodian. Change of schools must be contemporaneous with a change of residence. In other words, enrollment in the school occurs at the same time as the move. Falsification of information in terms of eligibility will result in the student-athlete being declared ineligible for a period of 365 days from the point of notification to the association. A student-athlete will be prohibited from involvement in all athletic-related activity for the 185-day school year and any school-sponsored activities during the summer.